I have seen some diabolical clips about this. I have. Liberal women have reached peak insanity by Sydney Watson. Basically, what happens is they're taking medication to spite someone. It is so stupid. We'll look at that. It's gonna be horrible. I can guarantee you that. You're gonna have some brain cells jumping ship. I don't know if the clip I'm talking about is in here. If it isn't, I will explain the context. I don't know if it's in here.
28 weeks pregnant. You know what I'm gonna take? Some Tylenol, acetaminophen.
These women are so stupid, right? They're by an off chance that it's just vitamins, right? By an off chance it's just vitamins. Okay, it's just as a joke. Okay, but if it's actually Tylenol, the company itself said that you should not take this during pregnancy. The company itself said that. Not only that, is your hatred for the orange man that great? Is the hatred for the president of the United States that great that you would even harm your own child just to spite him? That is what this is the level of retardation that we have to deal with.
Gonna work like a charm, and my baby won't have autism.
I always feel like we finally hit peak stupidity, but then things happen, and once again I am proved wrong. Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. And
as usual, I have to say, we're already in it. It feels like that.
Today is an especially bumpy hell gondola ride indeed. Also, I really quick—
Wait a minute, huh? I just noticed that. Have you noticed that? Let me look at their cup again.
Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. And today is an especially bumpy hell gondola—
See that? You see that? Somebody damaged their mug. Their tea mug. You see that? That's not normal. That is not normal.
Right, indeed. Also, I really quickly want to make note of some things happening over with my tea company. If you are new here, I have a little tea business. I make yummy little blends. Number one, my winter flavors will probably be back in stock tomorrow. I'm pretty sure that's when I get my newest shipment. So like I said, no pre-sale. They'll just be straight on the website for you to buy. Number two, and I think this is much more important, as you guys know, I don't like throwing things away. And I have a bunch of tea that's going to be expiring at the end of November, more or less, although tea doesn't really expire and they're all individually sealed, so you know, there's that. So if you are cool with that, use the discount code WE DON'T WASTE for 50% off on the Emerald Green, Earl Grey, and New York breakfast. And if you are somebody who has a church or you have a cafe or somewhere that serves tea drinks, please reach out to me because I have been giving no strings attached tea to people, to churches and to cafes and restaurants and things, just for them to—
I could tell somebody this that might be interested in this. I could do that. I'm gonna do that after stream. I'm writing that down genuinely. So I know somebody that could reach out. Okay.
To actually be able to sell to their people, because if I don't sell all these boxes, I'm gonna have to throw them away, and I would rather they get use through these other organizations and through other businesses. That's all. Sorry I'm talking so much. I just want to let you guys know we don't waste for 50% off of those 3 flavors if you're not worried about the expiration impending. Now, we have an especially dumb thing to talk about today because it's—
Oh God, the clips I had seen on Twitter. The clips I have seen on Twitter. You will lose brain cells. You will question. See, we might be the pinnacle of evolution, but we're not the smartest animal, I feel like. No other animal out there will do something out of stupidity to harm their own offspring.
The end of 2025 and nothing has improved. I am sure many of you have already seen the recent announcement by Trump and the Secretary of Health and Human Services, RFK Jr., made here at the end of September that the FDA will be updating drug safety guidelines for Tylenol usage for pregnant women. Also known by its other name, acetaminophen, which I won't be saying too much because it's quite a mouthful. Just the way Tylenol likes it. Anyway, the reason for this update is because some studies have associated Tylenol usage during pregnancy with adverse neurological outcomes in children. There is a suggested link to autism as well as other conditions like ADHD. So mothers are taking—
Whether you believe the study, I mean, it is a Harvard study, whether you believe the study or not, right? Regardless, this is clearly an indicator that just because, like, you wouldn't want to take the risk, right? You wouldn't want to take the risk. I wonder if Trump said, "Yo, actually, do not smoke," and those pregnant women would just start smoking. Like, I could see that.
Tylenol for their headaches and giving their child a permanent one. I am kidding, obviously. We love mums on this channel. We respect mums on this channel, but the jokes, they kind of write themselves. I also know this is a very touchy subject. Tylenol, giving all new meaning to big brain. Okay, I'll stop. Trump and RFK Jr. also announced a promising therapeutic treatment for kids with autism that also have folate deficiencies, which I'm not going to get into, but there you go, now you know. Now, although I am a doctor, I am not that kind of a doctor. I'm not a medical doctor, so I'm not going to weigh in here about whether or not all of this is true and fair and accurate. And even the administration, with these new findings, with this new information, has said that because there is conflicting data on the Tylenol subject, the Department of Health and Human Services is advising doctors to use their best judgment, oh god, and offer women the lowest possible dosage for the shortest amount of time when necessary.
See, right, that's the thing. That's the thing. Even if it's not true, right, you have to consider this. It could have been any other medication and they would have still done it. Also, how do I say this? Why are you not, before you take any medication, by the way, I've seen women do this in general, pregnant women. Why the fuck are you not hitting up your doctor on what medication you can take? I've seen people just throw in shit while being pregnant, and I'm like, are you stupid?
Which seems pretty fair and reasonable to me. I mean, pregnant women across the board are told not to eat deli meat because 0.012% of them end up getting listeria, which is a bacterial infection that does some kooky stuff. And yet, despite the fact that incidence of this infection is relatively rare, they are still told unilaterally to stay away from the cured pig meat. So if we can do some broad sweeping stuff over here, why can't we do the same thing when it comes to these kind of drugs? That's the real question that I have. So in response to this news, instead of being normal, sane people, progressive women on TikTok have decided to film themselves taking Tylenol while pregnant to, I don't know, spite Trump, to get the righties. I don't know the motivation behind this. I did tell you this is one hell of a gondola ride today.
28 weeks pregnant. You know what I'm gonna take? Some Tylenol, acetaminophen. It's gonna work like a charm, and my baby won't have autism.
Wait, you won't? I think you misunderstood. It was said that it causes autism, not may cause autism. Not that it prevents. I'm stupid. She's stupid. Maybe I'm stupid.
Where are the husbands in all of this? Now, a lot of these videos don't have audio, but they feature mostly the same sort of caption. I'm pregnant and have a headache and still reaching for Tylenol. Sorry, not sorry. Orange man is not my OB. I love how they do this because they solely want other women to get on the internet and then seal clap for their utter stupidity. But I think the majority of us are over here like, do you have a dumb? Here's me, a pregnant woman taking Tylenol because I believe in science and not someone who has no medical background. I am willing to bet this woman
She meant my baby won't have autism, which would prove I'm wrong. Yeah, okay. You know what would be ironic though? You know what would be ironic? If it does end up having being on the spectrum. Wouldn't that be ironic now? Wouldn't that be ironic?
Wore a mask in her car and spent 3 years being afraid of air. Oh yes, I believe in science, but only when the people I like are telling me the science. I'm sorry, but you just look stupid. Stocking up on Tylenol because I know it doesn't cause autism. I am not kidding. I would love to know who is impregnating these women because it's feeling a little irresponsible on the part of the men. I don't know, guys. When I was
Sydney, here's what I'm gonna tell you this, Sydney. I'm gonna tell you this. See. The thing is that These women may or may not have a dad around. And the more... It seems very likely that there is, from the clips I have seen, that there is no dad around. There is no dad around. So that might be the reason why they're losing their mind. Huh.
Growing up, I heard that rule a lot passed around men about not putting your man pickle in the crazy sauce, if you know what I mean. Hello.
Studies found men enjoy crazy women more. I'm sorry. It is what it is.
Hello chickens, editing Sydney from the future here, because I forgot to tell you that there is a kind of sauce that we do like on this channel, although it's not actually sauce, it's hot chocolate, and it's a kind of hot chocolate that helps you sleep, which is why today's video is sponsored by Beam. I have officially become a dream merchant because anytime anyone in my life says that they're having trouble sleeping, I immediately suggest they try Dream Sleep Hot Cocoa. I even recently used Dream in pill form on a long-haul flight a few weeks ago, and I slept the entire time. It's not very often that I find a brand that I like as much as Dream, but I think it's because this stuff actually works. It also tastes really good, but that's probably more...
It probably does not work.
More of a secondary point. I drink my sleepy hot chocolate about an hour before bed, and I find myself calmly heading off to sleep and staying asleep, and I also don't get that gross grogginess when I wake up, which honestly is really important to me because grogginess completely ruins my mornings. I feel like I'm struggling the entire time, but I wake up feeling rested when I drink Dream, which is why I continue doing it. I have also converted basically everybody in my life to this stuff, so I don't know, I now have the testimony of like 5 different people. I really like that Dream uses great ingredients like reishi and magnesium and L-theanine and melatonin, although there are melatonin-free options if that isn't for you. So if you too want the best night's sleep and a yummy drink, then click the link in the description or go to shopbeam.com/Sydney.
This is useless for me. I do not sleep. Sleep is for the weak.
And of course use code SydneyW for up to 35% off today. I mean, at least this woman is obviously pregnant, but I don't think she's actually even taking Tylenol here. This tablet is blue. I don't know, maybe there are blue tablets, but usually they're white. So this is what, like extra performance?
Yeah, okay, this one I see being fake. This one I see being fake. Yeah. But that's not the clip I'm talking about.
Performing. And why does this read like a Tylenol commercial? Why have you positioned the bottles this way? What am I watching here? I am reaching for the Tylenol because I work in a pharmacy and know there's zero correlation between Tylenol and autism. That's a bold claim. Zero correlation. Okay, pharmacy lady. I do think that this last weird TikTok kind of does hit an odd nail on the head, given that there are a lot of people now who are...
See, I wonder, let me check. Is the clip in here? Like, is the clip... I don't think the clip is in here. No, it is not. Okay, well, then I'm gonna tell you this. So a nurse made a video about a husband, calling. Completely distressed, completely scared, anything, right? Because his pregnant wife. This is not a completely fully verified story. This is not a completely verified story, right? She only told us that. These liberal white women are this retarded that she overdosed on Tylenol. She overdosed on Tylenol to the point of liver failure, and she is going to die. If I remember correctly, she's like in the 25th week. The baby, they will probably try to get the baby out of her, but yeah, she will die, and all that just to prove the orange emperor wrong. That's how stupid that's genuinely how stupid these people are. That is genuinely how stupid these people are. And now the husband is first of all going to suffer if the wife dies. He's also going to suffer if the baby does not survive. Because, right, it has to be put in like those special like thingies in there, right? Because it's actually way too early for the baby to actually, right, be born. So they have to probably, yeah, you get the idea. What I'm trying to say is no, zero survival instinct for their own. Zero. That's how bad it is, right? Usually, like, first of all, throughout the entirety of, like, animals, right? All animals protect their young from any hurt, right? Protect their young. And not only that, but it's also cross species, right? It's also cross species, right? If you see like a baby something, whatever, right? If you see like, I don't know, like a small hedgehog somewhere, right, that needs help, most humans will be helping this little hedgehog, right? So it's also like cross species protecting the youngs of others. Some animals do that, right? These people have completely turned off the desire to protect their own, which is crazy to me. That is crazy. Yeah, neonatal care. Yep. It is insane to me.
Making the claim that there's no relationship between this drug and negative birth outcomes. And yet there has been evidence mounting for years and years that says exactly the opposite. That
Who has been mounting what? Pause.
Does show a correlation between these two things. And I'm not saying how good or bad that evidence is, I'm just saying that it exists. A short trip down memory lane gives us an announcement from the FDA in 2015 suggesting a potential issue with Tylenol and pregnancy. This Johns Hopkins 2019 research paper, Taking Tylenol During Pregnancy Associated with Elevated Risks for Autism, ADHD. And this found that in newborns with the highest exposure to the core drug in Tylenol, they were about 3 times more likely to be diagnosed with ADHD or autism spectrum disorder in childhood, which is, that's alarming. In 2016, 2017, and 2021, and honestly, I'm sure that they have covered this previously as well, CNN ran pieces about the drugs related.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised, okay? I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of medication that people take during pregnancy may have effect on the child's development. I'm legitimately not. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. Again, I do have my what's the word, theory that they're actually not the industry, like the medical industry, is actually not trying to actually help people. They just keep you healthy enough so you come back and pay more. I wouldn't be surprised there.
Relationship to risks of ADHD in kids and risks to pregnancy. Of course, now they've changed their tune to Big Pharma good, Orange Man bad, because who cares about consistency, am I right? There are, of course, other research papers and other studies and evaluations that have cautioned women against taking Tylenol while pregnant, as it may lead to potentially negative outcomes in babies. People have also dug up Tylenol's previous tweets, where the company seems to admit itself that taking the medication while
True, but I also think this is to protect them from any legal consequences should something happen. I think these tweets are due to protect them from legal consequences, because if they don't do it and something happens, right, a woman takes Tylenol and something happens, they can sue the company. So I think this is also just to protect them legally.
Pregnant is not advised, although, admittedly, this is contradicted by what is directly written on their website right now, which argues that it has been widely tested and is safe for women in all stages of their life. For some
never mind, I guess I'm wrong.
Reason as well, this situation has given left-wing outlets this weird haha moment, where they've posted articles saying conservatives are mounting down about pregnant women taking Tylenol, or the women posting these videos in the first place are in defiance of Trump. But I think that's part of what's actually insane.
So stunning and brave. I'm gonna put my own child on the line to prove a point. Stunning and brave women. The women are stunning and brave. Let's applaud them.
Here. I personally am a big believer in adults making their own choices, but making good and educated choices, informed choices, which is why back when I made my video talking about hormonal birth control,
I'm pro good choices. I'm anti-retarded choices. And this is a retarded one.
Really hammered on the fact that a lot of us in our teens, when we're prescribed the pill, don't have what I would consider to be good informed consent. But that's obviously a conversation for another day. But I think hilariously, the informed consent, educated consent thing is what is sort of circling this entire topic. It's not as if Trump and co said, you can never ever take Tylenol ever again. We're going to ban it and pull it off shelves themselves and do all these things and restrict your access to it. They're saying, when you take this, if you decide to take this, make sure that that's a good and informed decision. The Department of Health and Human Services has more or less said, use caution when taking this drug when you're pregnant and speak to your physician. And they didn't even say that it definitively causes autism. They said it's a factor in a series of factors. So all of these weirdos who are running around the internet ingesting this drug to, I don't know, own Trump, to own the right wing, are genuine.
On the conservatives by nuking my womb. I just realized that. Own the Nazis by nuking my womb. Crazy work. Honestly, I blame the men. Pregnant woman dicks Tylenol. Men to blame. You know what this reads like? Men die in war. Women most affected. These women are pregnant. They're already on edge. Sorry, that does not already make sense. I want to do something dumb just to have that told ya moment. That I agree with. They are doing something dumb to get that told ya moment. Who's giving them the med? And what? I don't. The question is Tylenol needed for prescription? Wait, let me check. It does not need a prescription, so you can't even put it on men! Fuck you! We're not follow here. They don't need prescription. It is not needed for prescription. Ha! They can't just buy it. They can't just buy it. It is not. You don't need a doctor to get it. So there's nobody at fault but the women. There's nobody at fault but the women. You can't just go there and buy it.
Genuinely insane. These lunatic weirdos let their hate for Orange Man completely destroy their ability to use rational thought, because Trump and friends are not
Trump derangement syndrome?
Pulling this information out of their buttholes. It's coming from Harvard, and it's coming from other researchers and doctors. And if there is a potential that this drug causes autism, contributes to autism, whatever, I actually think it's a good thing that women have access to that information so that they can make their own decisions going forward. And I mean, as a complete aside, I would bet a lot of money that the people currently going bananas over this right now probably, were the trust the science folks during the big sneeze and think that
the big sneeze is crazy. I'm gonna refer to 2021 now, the big sneeze. That's peak. See, they probably were like take the shot and be like trust the science, and now they're like science, what's that?
Anthony Fauci is some sort of living god. So, there's that. And I've seen so many people share weird graphics saying autism is some sort of superpower that doesn't need to be fixed.
Number one piece of advice I can give for you: hire the most autistic person you know. I'm talking that motherfucker who goes nonverbal when there's groups bigger than 3. That is where the magic comes. Autism in the trenches, it's alchemy for literal cash. I mean, people don't get this, right? You're scared of the kid who looks like he might, I won't say it on stream, right? But like, that kid is a gold mine. Man, the guy that made Call of Duty, you think he can speak and hold a regular conversation? No. People don't understand that weaponized autism is the key to greatness. I mean,
weaponized autism. Weaponized autism. You use autism to hyperfixate on trains. I use autism to weaponize it. We are not the same. Weaponized autism is brutal. We're always talking about it like it's weaponized incompetence. That is crazy. That is actually insane.
My whole generation, but we all had a couple bad vaccines. It was the motherfuckers who tried to steer away from that instead of just accepting that something is a little off. We had some shit fried, but more importantly, that shit that was fried is the key to living like a beautiful life. Embrace that autism and then weaponize that shit. It's like so beautiful.
And maybe this is a bigger component to this than a lot of us realize, and I honestly don't want to get into it in detail in this video, but maybe part of the problem here is the fact that people have self-diagnosed with autism, and they have made autism this fun little quirky thing that you might have, that it refers to the sort of
It's all also that, you know what that also does? See, we're always like pro mental health and we need to take care of people that have mental health issues, right? Mental health is really important. Mental health is an issue. This understanding is only existent, right? This only exists until the mental illness is no longer cute and quirky. Then, like, that pseudo-social thing just evaporates, disappears, right? If your autism is so severe that it hinders people, that's when it's no longer cute and quirky. That's the problem here.
Idiosyncrasies that individual people might have and display, rather than the debilitating neurological condition that it is that prohibits certain people from living full, fulfilling lives, that requires them to have full-time care, and you know, really is a condition that's not fun at all. And you know, I think something that really gets lost in all of this is that parents, regardless of their political leanings and persuasions, I would imagine, if they could, would snap their fingers and rid their children of the profound autism, as RFK Jr. calls it, because they know that this is no life for their little people, and this is no life even for their grown children that they continue to care for. And if they could give that child the opportunity to live a fulfilling...
Mental illness is not cute and quirky. It is not fun. Nobody needs it. Nobody needs it. If we can cure it, why not? Why not? Because I can guarantee you that there also, while you want to make it cute and quirky, there comes probably a lot of suffering with that too. I can bet there comes a lot of suffering with that too, depending on the severity. Depending on the severity, like, no, what are you talking about? Like, it's like, would these people argue that, like, oh, see, we shouldn't cure people of depression, right? You're just being ableist. We shouldn't cure of schizophrenia. You're just being ableist. No one would say that in their right mind. Why for autism? Why not? Why are we acting like this for autism? Like, my older sister was dating someone with autism. And it was, straight up, I'm gonna say this, a pain for him and a pain for her. It's just the truth.
Happy, normal life, they would do that. So I find it extremely upsetting and disappointing that this specific issue gets politicized as much as it does, because yeah, people have autism and they have it to varying degrees, but for the people who are profoundly affected by this condition, it's not just little quirkies and idiosyncrasies. It's a debilitating, challenging way to live, not just for the person who has it, but for the people who have to care for that individual and ensure that they do have a quality of life. I really didn't want to get all serious on you guys, but I do actually think this is a very serious topic, and I don't think that it's a political topic. I think that it's a, you know, non-partisan issue, and we should, I think, collectively be more focused on trying to find a way of bringing autism rates down. And so I'm sorry to the liberals who are...
Autism, depression, other conditions that might be more and more widely spread. We should all focus on bringing these down. This is not normal. This is damaging. We need to work on getting these, like, all of this, like, lowered. When something's causing depression, remove it. When something's causing autism, we can prove that it does. Gone. I see no issue with that.
Said about this, that this information is coming from people that you don't like, but they are committed to finding, not a cure necessarily, I don't know if that could exist, but they are committed to finding a way of ameliorating all of this for all of us. That last statement felt...
I don't think that you could ever cure it, right? I mean, you probably, if, like, you had, like the most advanced, brain science you could have, right? And you could reprogram a brain. I mean, probably you could, but we're not at that point. I don't think it would be worth doctoring on somebody's brain. But if we can prevent it, then we should do that. If we can prevent it, then we should do that.
very pro-government, but hopefully you guys know what I mean. You know what I'm trying to get at, because I don't have a big brain and I cannot articulate myself today. The last thing I want to note really, really quickly, because I do really think it matters, and again, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, is the fact that a bunch of people are currently worshipping at the altar of Tylenol, and for some weird reason defending Big Pharma, because okay. But what's not getting mentioned here is the fact that Tylenol as a brand has been at the heart of a bunch of not great lawsuits. It does cause negative effects on the body, and people routinely take too much of it, causing liver failure, kidney failure, high blood pressure. There's all sorts of issues that are not associated with pregnancy. Now, ignoring all of this, including the new pregnancy information, because you don't like who is delivering it, because you don't like who is telling you the news, is reckless.
You don't like who's delivering it, and the first thing you do is do the opposite of what they tell you. If they said, if Trump said don't drink if Trump said drink water, water's good for you, you'd stop drinking water immediately. That's what it feels like. That is exactly what these people are doing, essentially.
Because like I said, this is not a political issue. This is a health and wellness issue. This is an issue surrounding us failing the next generation of little people who are being brought into the world with all sorts of conditions that we could avoid had we just listened a little bit better to the news and the information that was around us. Researchers have continually been waving the red flag when it comes to this issue, and it keeps getting swept under the rug. I have said this a million times, but I'm gonna say it again. Drug companies do not care about you. They just don't. They are not impressed. They do not give a crap.
No company cares about you. The only thing they care about is money and chasing the newest greatest trend. They don't care about, like, we are not people, we're numbers to them. Any company. Sure, okay. I guess it depends if it's like a smaller business. Okay, you could argue with that, but big businesses, like the pharma industry, like really big ones, the big players, they don't care
crap about the fact that there's a bunch of women currently taking Tylenol and potentially harming their pregnancies. They don't care about any of that. They don't think that you're some savior for their drug. All they care about is getting their drugs to market, and whatever ways, whatever things they need to do to make that happen. That is what they care about. And I think to demonstrate that, all we really need to do is look at thalidomide, which was the drug that was prescribed to women, to pregnant women during the 50s and early 60s. It was a drug that was given to women for morning sickness, and yet it caused catastrophic birth defects.
Oh, yikes.
And the manufacturer of this drug, fun fact, knew about some of the drug's ill effects and chose not to publicize them, and this was a whole thing. Weirdly, this is one of the only things that I remember from the early days of my first degree, because we just did this like whole unit on something related to this. I don't know what it was, but anyway, I learned a ton about thalidomide. Don't ask me why this is the one thing I remember, but it is. So yeah, thalidomide was eventually, after all these babies were deformed and all these mothers and fathers and lives were traumatized and broken and destroyed, they finally pulled the drug off shelves and kind of were like, well, oopsie, look, we kind of messed up. This video's gotten really serious and I wasn't intending for it to, but I guess I care about this a lot, and I want to make the point that I think history tells us a lot about.
You need to care, because why would you want babies with like 3 arms or T-Rex arms or whatever that was earlier? Holy fuck. Poor little one. Yeah, poor little guy or gal, I don't know.
About how drug companies are going to behave, because it's not as if they've changed since the days of thalidomide. They've just gotten much better at hiding their nonsense. Ultimately, I hate the fact that a bunch of mums are going to be looking at their autistic children and thinking, did I do something wrong? That makes me sad for them, it really does. But I am glad that there might potentially be some sort of answer to that question, because even if it makes you feel bad, maybe it's good to know what happened and what transpired that might have led to a specific outcome. So on that.
See, it's also useful, right? Because, well, the moment, like, right, some people may have more than one children, right? Some may want more children. So it is good to know. Let's say that the firstborn actually does suffer from autism. That the firstborn does have the condition. Then it would be reasonable to understand where that came from. So if you do intend to have another child, don't repeat the same mistakes, essentially. So that's also important. I want 3 arms. Ugh. I mean, it would be useful probably, but it would look weird. Why not get just 4 at this point?
That front, although it's sad, maybe it's a good thing. And all these people who are running around taking these drugs as a form of protest are really just useful idiots. In the end, I do believe that knowledge is power, and I think that the more that we learn about specific conditions and the many, many contributing factors that lead to them, the better off we will be as a society. But for right now, I do wish that the people on TikTok would just stop. Now on that very happy and pleasant note, and before I open the floor to all of you, this is just a reminder, check out Dream/Beam. Using the link in the description, I cannot sing the praises of this hot chocolate enough. I love this stuff. It's just become such a staple in my household. I really like this company, so if this is something that you think would work for you, absolutely check them out. And I hope you have a good sleep. Now I open the floor to all of you. What do you all think? Are you on my side of this issue where you're looking at this all unfold and just thinking, why would you do this? Why would you politicize this? This is so silly. Do you think that people are doing what they're doing on TikTok because they're trying to protest Trump? What do you think underpins that? Because I don't really think I have an answer to that. Do you think that there is actually a meaningful relationship between Tylenol and autism? And do you think that's something that maybe we should explore further? What do you think of all of the little components surrounding this issue? The fact that the media are making fun of Trump and co for this, the fact that in years gone by, they've pointed out the relationship between this drug and autism, and what you generally make of this issue overall. As always, if you've made it this far in the video, congratulations. I always like having you along for the full ride. If you are new here and you're not subscribed to the channel and you would like to see more of me and more of this kind of content, feel free to subscribe, as well as leaving this video a like and a comment, because I do read the majority of them. I really do. My mom called me out. She's like, I bet you don't. And I was like, no, I really do. And I like hearing your feedback. Of course, my little chickadee noodle people, I hope you stay safe and well and make very good choices, because those are important. And
That's pretty much the end of the video. So, here's what I believe. For once, I believe that they have Trump derangement syndrome. They have TDS. They are taking this to do, in fact, protest. Some of these might be fake, right? Some of these pills might just replace with some vitamin pills, whatever. I do think that medication can certainly, drugs can certainly affect a pregnancy and a person and cause issues, even mental health issues and stuff. I certainly, there's certainly a chance that that is a thing. But in general, I think these women are just straight up stupid. They just are. Why would you harm your own child, potentially, right? Potentially, to prove a point? Why would you do that? Why do you do that? Why instead, see, you could have instead just made an informed video talking about this, right? You could have made 50, 100 videos against this informed video if you think you know more than others, right? Who knows? But instead you chose to take a drug that may or may not harm your child. It doesn't even matter if it's just if it would cause autism. If it does have any drawbacks towards your child, that is already a big enough issue regardless. And even to yourself, do better. Do better. What is this? That is not normal. We should not be doing this. That is certainly not it. Anyways, like, comment, and subscribe.